record live. All right. For anyone who bothers to watch, good evening. We're going to play our custom campaign of Call of Cthulhu, The Shadows of Jericho. Before we begin, let's meet our victims. I mean, our investigators.
You bastard.
No, you're right.
Hi, I'm Jay and I'm playing Kore.
Hi, I'm Audrey. I'm playing Wonvu. This is Princey, my lucky penguin.
Hi everyone, I am Philip and I'm playing the character named Jericho. Norman, the librarian.
And you will all find out why a librarian is needed. We are picking up a day after the events from the last week. Kore, after a bit of a breakdown in the library,
Yeah.
Wonvu thought it prudent to drop you off to your therapist. And then you had to stay with him in his apartment just to make sure you're alright. We are picking up the day after. It is about lunchtime. And you will be in the Spades Diner. This is the diner where Allison works. It is owned by a man named Jack Hardy, more commonly known and referred to as Jack Spades from his time as a mob runner. The man got off some serious charges when his mob family went down because of you. Favors for favors. So you will be having your usual lunch at the Spades Diner when Wonvu arrives as scheduled for the two of you to meet. Kore has just come back from her unusual therapy session. Now you've had issues, but this is new. Very strange. As you arrive, Wonvu, and have your own meal, as soon as you guys are about to discuss, the local news appears on the television. There is the newscaster, and he speaks with his normal lower voice. In breaking news, there has been a murder in the Stone household in the Wolfswood district. It seems that one of the students had, while inebriated, had fallen off the second floor head first and broke his neck. However, soon after was discovered another student's body, already dead when the paramedics arrived, had his neck bitten off by something. And finally, a third student, unusually mangled and has been missing for quite a number of weeks, seems to show rigor mortis beyond what is normally expected of his estimated time of death. But it seems that the DNA from the first student whose neck was bitten off has been seen in the mouth of this unusually mangled student. Sources say that Mr. Stone had been taken into custody, but he had been released thanks to an army of expensive lawyers. As such, there are no new leads. In other news, an unidentified and crazed woman had pulled a gun in the local library, causing 44-year-old Jillian Hill, the longtime librarian of Jericho City, to resign from her position because of health concerns and psychological trauma of having a gun pointed directly at her. The replacement librarian is expected to take up his position within the next couple of weeks. Until then, the library is closed for investigation. And then the newscast just kind of back into the normal setting. At this point, Gord, you receive a phone call from Mr. Westway, the person who employed you and Wonvu. Do you pick up? Kore, do you pick up the phone call?
Yeah.
Okay. He just calls and says, "Whatever happened in the library, I have seen to it that it never reaches the police. I have paid off who needs to be paid. I do not know what has happened, but I'm sure whatever it was is relating to what I have asked you to do. But please, in the future, avoid such circumstances, as money cannot solve or rather create miracles. I would advise you to avoid the public light for a while. The new librarian,
Yes, what?
I have asked him to meet with you. He is an experienced man, and
Is he going to be part of this?
if you think he should be, perhaps he'd be a good, valuable resource. He is an experienced man and not what you'd expect of a librarian. He is tall and rather strong. I believe he has a background with arms and weaponry. And I do believe you might be able to gain some assistance from him. I've heard of his reputation, but that is all I know. I've pulled some strings to make sure that he'll contact you. He will be at the diner with you. Try to get a gauge to see if he can help you out. Every now and then he might be able to provide some information. And given that he's the new librarian, he would be able to access the library before anyone else can in the next couple of weeks. Let me know of any updates. He turns the phone off. I'm assuming he was on speakerphone. So as you guys have your meal, there's a man who stands about nearly 6 foot tall, kind of orangey, slightly curly hair with a 5 o'clock shadow, carrying these rectangular spectacled frame glasses. He walks towards all of you, and as he arrives, Norman, these are the two people you were told to meet. Now, you were given a fairly considerable compensation to keep this meeting behind closed doors, so to speak. But these two match the description of who you were supposed to speak to, and you are in the diner that was mentioned. Go on.
Hello.
Alright. Hello. I'm curious. Who was the one who pointed the gun at dear old librarian?
Do we really have to talk about this first thing in the morning? Let's say that was me. That was me. I'm sorry about that. I didn't want to cause any trouble. But there were a lot of zombies staring at my way, and I think I'm going crazy. Hi, my name is
I
Kore.
think you are as well.
Thank you for the support, friend.
I'll be of support, but do let me know if there's something that you see that needs fixing and putting them in their rightful place. And who would you be? I'm referring to the other person.
Yep, they are.
My name is Norman, and you are?
Audrey.
What?
He's talking to you, Wonvu.
What? Yeah. Yeah. I'm just going to, push the finger, like, parang, hi, and then I'm just gonna say, I'm Wonvu. I'm the private investigator, I guess, and I'm the one that pulled her into this mess. Well, I need all the support, I guess.
Nice to meet you as well, Wonvu.
Okay.
Is there anything interesting that we need to look at?
How much do you know about what we're researching?
I was briefed, but I would rather hear it from those who have been on the ground for quite some time.
Well, I feel like there are a few things you do need to know, but I'm just gonna pull out the book books, plural books,
Ah,
from last time, and I'm gonna show it to him.
okay. So first of all,
I'm
housekeeping.
also gonna point. Yeah,
Norman,
yeah.
you know what you know is that Wonvu and Kore have been hired by Mr. Westway, a very wealthy, powerful man, to look into the suicide of his daughter. The reason they were hired to do such a thing is because while it is confirmed with video evidence that his daughter had committed suicide, it was not clear why. You see, his daughter was happy, there were no history of mental illnesses, and her father had had a very close relationship. And yet she had committed suicide so abruptly after meeting, a few weeks after meeting a student named Aaron Stone. That is the man who owns the house where the bodies were found. Now, they were part of his investigation, and that is as much as you know from Mr. Westway, who gave you the money and asked you to help them out. Now, nothing illegal has been asked of you. This is more of him trying to find out what happened to his daughter, and somehow sympathy took over. Now, what Wonvu shows you are two very old leather-bound books. The leather is dating very old, possibly from the 12th, 13th century, perhaps. It is old, and the paper is yellowed, so yellowed it is centuries, definitely centuries old. The books that are given will reflect history. Now, there are two books that are similar. They have a strange symbol in the front cover, but you don't understand what it is, and you do not see any form of titles or text on the front indicating what the book is. Now, when you look at the first book, it is a detailed account of history dating back from the 1200s all the way forward to about the 1500s. The odd thing about this book is that at the very end of it, it cuts off mid-sentence, mid-paragraph. Doesn't finish. It just doesn't finish the last page. Now, when you look at the second book, it is a direct continuation of that sentence and that paragraph. But the odd thing about the second book is the more you read into the first few pages, you realize that while the first book was fairly accurate as a history book, the second one is all wrong. The history is not right. There is history of the Japanese going into Europe, when in this period in the book they should still be in the Sengoku Jidai. There are history of America already being founded and put up despite the fact it's several hundreds of years too early. The history in the second book is completely mistaken. It is incorrect. But the first book is actually very accurate. The odd thing about these books is how they're so interconnected. This first book ends mid-sentence, and then the second book starts out by completing that sentence. And the symbol is something you've never seen before, despite all your years as a librarian and of research. You've never seen this symbol before. You've never seen anything like it before. That's about it.
I would look at the books and I would try to smell it.
The paper smells old, and the leather is definitely aged. But the odd thing is you smell fresh ink on the second book. As if it
It's
was...
very strange indeed.
Hello?
Yep. The
I'm
book...
just gonna say, yeah. I imagined that you'd have the same reaction as I did. And I was right. So that stranger, you know, feels like it's changing. Doesn't feel right, doesn't feel normal. I think you can perceive that as well, right?
Yeah, I
Now,
would say so. And
Norman,
I returned the book back to one.
Norman, you realize after reading the second book there's some ink smudging on your fingers. Like it was written straight out of the inkwell. So, how would you guys like to proceed
Are you
with
gonna
this
ask?
investigation? Norman, your
Well-
job as the new librarian doesn't start until 2 weeks, so you have some free time and you were compensated to help them to the ability you're willing to do so. So you don't necessarily need to participate in any activities that they might do that you don't feel comfortable about. How would you all like to proceed?
I have a question.
Yes,
Go.
Corey, you had a question.
I would like to ask if there's a message sent by that kid we're investigating.
Ah, the one who invited
Did
you
he
to his
say anything?
basement. There is, in fact, a text. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you're still invited to the basement if you want to.
I'm going to tell Wonvu and Norman. Well, apparently I'm still invited in that screwed up party after that guy died. And that guy bit another guy. I still don't know if that actually happened. Oh, it actually did. I just saw in the news. Anyway, I'm not sure if I can get an invite for the both of you, but that's an odd lead. If it counts for anything.
Well, doesn't really bother me that you're going there on your own. I don't feel left out at all, but I'm just concerned with you going out on your own, especially the things you witnessed in that house.
The two of us
Thing.
witnessed, and
Norman, this conversation they're having is the first time you're hearing of any of it. So if you have any questions, feel free to act as appropriate.
Alright. Would it make any sense if you would want to go back and do another check, if you like?
I mean, sure. Is there another house party?
There is,
I'll check his page.
despite all of the warnings of the police to cease and desist, despite everything that's happened over the last day, the murders that have been found in his house, he is insistent on throwing his parties. Now, Norman, you're aware of this. Aaron Stone, his parents died in an accident, and his caretaker, his guardian, mysteriously shot himself in the head with a shotgun on video. Now, no one knows what happened, but ever since then, Aaron Stone, this young 17-year-old kid, has been throwing house party after house party in his family manor. And this is the same manor where the bodies were discovered, where Kore and Wonvu had an encounter with something they don't understand. This is the same place, and Aaron Stone is the man that Mr. Westway wants all of you to investigate, because his daughter was fine until she ran into him, until she met him.
I'm just going to look at Kore and I'm gonna say, well, I'm sure you can take care of yourself down there, right? But in case we could still pursue for an invite for me at the least, I could say that I'm your caretaker of sorts.
Corey, would you like to attempt?
Hold on, I'll be back for a sec.
Okay. So, Norman, are you willing to go in with them? Now, the conditions of your hiring was that help them with the information, help them with investigation, but the important thing here is you are not required to do anything that you are not comfortable doing. If you're not
I
one
understand.
for illegal activities or something like that, you are free not to go. However, you are paid rather handsomely, even for a man of your means. This is still quite a lot. Now,
Well,
go on.
yep. If they're going, then I'm going. I would need to start with helping out with the investigation. Then I think this is the best way to start.
So, Kore, Wonvu,
Alright.
is this a time to go back
But
to the party?
you can try searching for information among the guests if that's what it.
Are you heading to the party?
Yeah. Is it? Wait, it's noon, right? Is it happening right now?
Yes. His parties are notorious
That's-
for being the all-day, everyday kind.
Wait, so
Okay.
we're going to the party and I'm going in alone?
If you wanted to.
Well, we could still try convincing those dudes to let me in with you under the guise that I'm like your caretaker of sorts. But if that doesn't work, then you can go in on your own.
Would you like to send a text?
Well, I mean, the last time I got shut down. Is there anything I can do to roll? Is there anything that I can roll to receive insight?
Not
If
over
I'm gonna
text.
be allowed to.
Not necessarily over text. You may attempt to just text it.
Yeah. I'm going to put send another text and just say, let me ask. I'll just be persistent about it. I'm gonna send a quick text and just say, thank you for the invite. Would you mind if I take someone with me? Question mark.
You wait for a minute or two before a reply arrives, but you eventually get a reply. The message reads, normally I don't do that sort of thing, but I think today is a pretty good day to make an exception. Bring whoever you like.
I'm going to reply, thanks darling, with a red heart emoji at the end, and then I'll just tell it to Wonvu and say, well, apparently I can take anyone that I want to take. What do you two think?
Sounds good.
I'm in.
Okay. You will
It's
all...
interesting that they're free today to let us in. Last time, they don't really work as well.
Maybe he's desperate. I mean, I don't think a lot of people will be attending his party now. After all that death and murder.
Norman, the invite is not necessarily the party, because as you are aware, the party is open house and open to anyone who wants to party. The invite is in fact to the basement, the only room in that house that is off limits. And no one knows what goes down there. And you, as a character, are not aware as to why the basement is so important for these two to get in. But you will drive to Aaron Stone's house via Kore's old Honda Civic sedan. It is an older model, but it definitely does the job and is very nondescript. When you arrive at the house, it is as if you were here, just like yes.
Can I tell him about what happened in the basement? Basically, a lot of teenagers went inside, and when they got out, they started acting weird and odd. They let their grades go. They become very reckless, and after that, a few days later, they don't remember anything that happened in the basement. They don't remember acting odd at all, and they went back to how they were. That's how the story goes anyway. We've never seen what's inside.
That is the rumor. Now, as you guys arrive at the house, it is for Wonvu and Kore very familiar. The house party, the loud music, the non-caring attitude of all the guests. The drunk people. It's like 2 p.m. in the day and there are already people drunk out of their minds, passed out on the lawn, vomit everywhere outside. There are broken pieces of glass, there are people who are high, people who are drunk, people who are just passed out. The music gets louder and louder as you step past this open lawn into the actual household. But as you enter, there are these people here. Seems like the party hasn't died. There's definitely less people.
Mhm.
And some people you don't really recognize. And there seems to have attracted a new crowd. Or rather just a group. 2 people, to be specific, stand out. They don't look like partygoers. They don't have drinks in hand. They don't have party outfits. What they have is what you think is a metal detector? Or some sort of handheld metal detector? It's like a handheld mechanical device with a little radio dish. And it's just... It looks like a tiny little satellite on a handheld device that they're pointing around. You see this weird beeping rectangular metal box thing with an antenna. They're definitely not the usual partygoers. They're looking for something. As you get to the house, you see them going up the 2nd floor. Now, Kore, the 2nd floor, you will remember, is where that room is.
Yeah.
But you guys are now at the front door of the house. How would you like to proceed from here?
Is the guy selling drugs still there?
The guy selling drugs is no longer here.
He didn't show up? Oh, that's a shame.
No, a lot of people
Actually
did
wanted
not
to
show
buy
up. A lot of people seem to have not showed up. They may have been taken aback by the problems from the previous day.
Yes, so.
But there are still a lot of people here. College students can't pass up a good house party.
Yeah. College students, man.
How would you like to proceed?
But is there anyone acting like odd or look like they're hiding something?
Not hiding something.
Other than those guys.
Other than those 2 that I mentioned, everyone just looks drunk and stupid.
Okay. Can I glance at the basement?
Yes, the basement door is still closed, but again, you have your invitations.
Okay.
Can I try to stop one of those metal detector guys on the way upstairs?
They were already on the way up by the time you arrived towards the front door, so they're already up there.
Would my phobia allow me to go upstairs despite knowing what's in there?
As long as you're not in the presence of what you're afraid of. As long as you avoid it. You can chase after them up the stairs.
I'll just look at the 2 of them and just say, I'll be back real quick. I am curious about what those 2 are up to. Then I'll chase after them upstairs.
Alright.
Yes, they're not moving particularly fast. In fact, that weird metal device thing is just kind of tracking along the wall. And then their strange handheld dish is just moving around. And they're not moving with any particular haste. You arrive and the first person you run into, it's a man and a woman. And the first person you see is the woman. What do you tell her?
I'll approach the woman. Hey, looking for something?
Oh, yes, just here for the party. Yeah. Just scanning.
You don't look like your party.
The guy just looks and says, look, Helen, we might as well just tell her. She calls us crazy, right? Doesn't really matter anymore. Everyone calls us that. Fine. My name's Ellen Collins. This is my brother, Luke. We're... fine. We're looking for ghosts. Luke just goes down and says, we're paranormal investigators. Okay? Get your laughs out now so we can just get back to work, alright?
Paranormal investigators,
Look, you saw the
I'm
news.
not exactly laughing.
You saw the news?
Yeah.
There was the guy who ran, fell down the sand floor. There was the dude who had a chunk of his neck bitten off. And then there was the zombified-like corpse that actually had the DNA of the other dude's neck in his mouth. So we're not crazy. We're doing this. You can feel free to laugh, but we gotta get back to work.
Honey, I'm not laughing. I was there when it happened.
They
I
suddenly
actually
look
saw
at
him
each
get
other.
the other guy's neck.
They look at each other and said, you were there? What? Did you see exactly what happened?
I saw it all happen.
Wait. When you say you saw it all happen, do you mean you saw the corpse bite the neck off of that guy?
I will answer your questions if you indulge mine.
They just look at each other. Alright, you've got a deal. Can we, I don't know, backyard I guess, where there's less of this noise?
Hold on. I actually came here with someone. I'm going to try to catch Wonvu and Norman's attention from this upstairs.
Yeah.
You guys
While
are just...
she was doing that, I was thinking of just surveying this crowd tonight.
Yeah, the crowd doesn't look any different than it used to. It's just the same kind of college student frat party vibe. Except there are a few more elderly people. Not necessarily elderly, but like 30s. Non-college students. There's a lot of people here that are just getting their drunk on. And while you guys are surveying this, you see Kore calling for you from the top of the stairs.
Alright, I'm just gonna nod and then rush over her side.
Okay,
Okay,
Norman.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go with her, and while walking towards while walking and going upstairs, I'm gonna grab one of those party beers.
Nice.
And have some beer. Well,
you can. You can take a drink. Nothing happens with the beer. There's actually a lot of things here. There is some hard liquor, some finely aged bourbon and scotch, really old wine, and of course the top quality, top shelf beer of various brands, suitable for anyone's taste. But when you guys arrive with Kore, you see that she's talking to two of those people with those weird devices, and now that you see them closer, the girl has long jet black raven hair and has a very flawless kind of looking face. It's very white, very smooth. She's very beautiful. And the guy, her brother, slightly older with a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow. He's also got this really dark black hair and slightly pale skin, like he could use a tan. The two of them look like your typical gothic lifestyle nerd types, with all the black and the kind of metal chains. The girl's even wearing this sort of black choker with a metal cross at the end of it. But these are the people that Kore's talking to. Luke just... So, these your friends?
Yeah, they're with me.
What's up with goth people?
We're paranormal investigators.
Okay, was this like a uniform or something?
It's a fashion sense. It's a lifestyle choice.
Alright.
nice
And I
tweeting
guess
out.
I'm not one to talk.
My sister dragged me into it.
Well, it does suit you, I gotta say.
Look, can we talk in the backyard or somewhere where there's no noise?
Hold
Alright.
on, before we go, I'm gonna give you a bit of a down payment, so to say. I'm gonna walk towards the door where, what's the bloody door? Bloody room, actually.
Yes, the door has been taped off with, well, it looks like that there was some police tape put in here, but it's been destroyed. But the door is kind of back there, but there is no new knob. What do you do
Is
here?
it locked?
No, there's no knob. You destroyed it the last time.
Okay, it's still broken. Yeah. I'm just going to tap on the door and just say, open this one. You might find something you like.
They open the
Well,
door.
there is another entrance.
They open the door
Okay, never mind.
and they kind of walk in. And what exactly are we looking for?
I'm not looking inside because I'm assuming there's blood everywhere, so I'm just gonna ask, do you not see the blood? It was a very
Ooh,
bloody room yesterday.
what I see is a cleanly plain white painted four-walled room that is completely empty and bleached. That is a real strong amount of bleach. You swear somebody killed someone here and tried to clean it up. Oh god, that bleach is so strong. Ah.
You don't say, man.
They walk out.
You don't say.
Can I
The-
look inside?
yes, all of you actually see a very cleanly bleached room. There's the strong scent of bleach is coming out that door, but the sister is still inside, and her weird metallic box thing just and then just looks at her brother. Look, something here, or at least there was. What? And then he kind of pulls out that weird looking radio dish and it starts beeping. Okay, something very freaky is happening or has happened in this room. What exactly did you see? Blood?
Bloods, symbols, and there was this one guy that's chained up in the bed. With what the news said, it's the missing student. Yes,
Ellen,
that's where we found him.
do you have a black light? Always carry one. And she carries out this small rectangular thing that kind of acts like a black light and just shines it all over the room. They close sort of the curtains and the windows and just shines over the room, and despite all the bleaching, you can still see markings of where it was cleaned, and you can still see some of the blood somewhere. Probably where the bleach didn't reach, like the roof. And as she shines, it does look like blood splatter was at least in this room. Well, it would appear she is telling the truth. There has been some form of bloody mess in this room until it was cleaned up. Right. Can we go outside now? Exchange information? We would like to know what the hell happened here.
But could we could. I really don't remember it as bloody as it described. But yes, we did see the ghoul here. I don't know if I should call it a ghoul. Don't know what to call it.
Alright, fine. Norman, you're hearing all of this for the first time. But you, while you're a man who does not necessarily believe in the supernatural, you do believe in scientific blacklights, and you know what blood splatter looks like under a blacklight. So you can, when she shines that light, you can confirm blood splatter. The patterns of blood splatter. As you all walk to the backyard where the music is just a little bit softer, a little more tolerable, Luke and Ellen sit you down at a sort of round table that's outside. All right. What would you like to know?
What is that odd thing that you're carrying?
Yes, it's like a metal detector.
Philip, I think we lost your video. Okay. She just said, they look hesitant in the way that they are really tired of being judged. And Ellen just kind of... Yeah, go.
Yeah, you don't really have to worry around us. I know how it feels to be thought of as insane by people. I'm gonna give like Wonvu a sharp look. And I've seen
Just
your
gonna roll
things.
my eyes.
Oh, shut up, Wonvu. I'm just going to
I'm not saying
push him
anything.
away. Your eyes are saying everything. But yeah, we've seen weird things, so you don't have to worry around us. You don't have to worry around us. Just say what you need to say and answer our questions.
And if I may add, looking at the ceiling, who would in their right mind would actually splatter that much amount of blood?
You're
You
right.
may or may not have things, but I think that one tells a lot. And no one is gonna be crazy to tell you that something bad happened.
You're right.
But this is more than the amount of blood you want to see.
Right, there was a lot of
Battlefield.
blood, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. I remember.
Look, you're right, of course. Blood splatter over the ceiling. If you were going to do that stuff intentionally, that takes a lot of effort. Even if you murdered someone in that room, you couldn't possibly get that much blood on top of a ceiling that's 20 feet above the ground without intending to do so. So someone's probably doing some weird shit here. And to answer your question, looking at Kore, what my sister's carrying is an electromagnetic field detector. It records electromagnetic radiation. Spectres are known to emit such radiations in odd places. And what I'm carrying is a laser grid infrared thermometer. Ghosts are known to reduce temperatures whenever they're around. And, well, we have another thing that we haven't had a chance to try yet. He pulls out an odd-looking box that looks like an old handheld transistor radio. This is a spirit box. It channels through various frequencies in the radio rapidly. It shifts from one frequency to the other every 0.5 seconds to create nothing but white noise, and spirits are known to be able to communicate through white noise. We haven't had a chance to use it because of all the music that's playing. So, your turn. I want to ask, why are you guys here? If you did see what you said you saw, why on earth would you ever come back here?
Simple. We're getting paid to do it. I'm a
It's all about money.
private investigator, and I'm here to do some work
The girl,
on the death of a girl. To this guy
Ellen just
wants
says,
this help.
Ellen just kind of said, of course, they're being paid to go back. But I at least admire that you would do this for the life of a girl. That's at least admirable. Luke looks at the three of
Well,
you.
it's noble, and we get paid handsomely.
Luke looks at the three of you like expecting a question.
Have you ever encountered anything supernatural? Oh, sorry. Go on.
It's okay, good.
Norman, you can add
I
in
was
if
about.
Mm.
Yeah, and my question is the same as Core's.
if they've encountered supernatural. They
Yep.
will look at you and say, we have... They look at each other, like they're wondering if they should tell you, and Luke just nods at Ellen. So Ellen takes over the conversation, goes up and says, alright, here's the deal. We're here not just because of what happened in the news. We were actually here a few weeks ago, a few months ago, before Christmas. There have been strange things ever since Mr. Stone's caretaker shot himself in the head with a shotgun on public television. We thought something might be wrong. So we went here to investigate, and we found odd things in the basement. Lots of readings and signatures from the basement, but we were not allowed entry. There's a big man who prevents people from coming in. He's very adamant about it. But we have recorded everyone who has ever walked into that basement and out, including the recently passed away Alicia Westway. But
Oh, can you tell us what happened to her then?
we don't know. We just know that she went into that basement like everyone else, and everyone who ever went into that basement came out of that basement different. Their grades slipped, their attitude changed, their parents wanted them to go to counseling. Some of them were complaining about seeing blood and horrors at night. Their nightmares were plagued. It's a big mess. And, well, we tried to go back here, but we couldn't find anything. So we thought maybe we'll look into some other rooms now that a murder has happened and a ghoul was discovered. Maybe it would shed some more answers than it did the last time. At least that's the hope. Luke just kind of... Yes?
If I may ask, who's guarding the basement? I mean, if you can go there, then yeah, who's guarding it?
When you no one has ever tried to open the door, but basically they're telling you that when you open that door, there's someone behind it who's waiting, kind of as a bouncer inside the basement door.
Can I ask them?
Mm-hmm.
You said that you have an idea of what's down in the basement. Can you tell us a little more about that?
We don't necessarily know what's happening there, but there's a lot of activity picked up by all our devices. In fact, our original electromagnetic field detector shattered when we pointed it towards the direction of the basement. The meter actually just broke and stopped working. Unfortunately, since we were not allowed to enter, we don't necessarily know much above that.
I'm just gonna look at Kore and parang give her a knowing look.
Well, what if in theory I can get you an invitation to go inside?
They
Do you
look at
think
each
you can
other.
gather intel by then?
Yep, they look at each other again. And Luke just says, hypothetically, if you get us an invitation inside, what's it gonna cost?
Full disclosure, everything you find out, everything discovered from before and in the future, you're telling us.
And maybe we could work out. Maybe you can share of our investigation. Could work out the deals with the person I'm working for. And maybe you could start working with us. Help us in this investigation.
Are you coming in with us, or just getting us the invitation?
We are coming in. We're coming
Alright.
in, right? We're coming.
Yeah, unfortunately.
They look at each other. Alright then, we have a deal. Whatever we find from this point on, we share with you. If you can get us down to basement.
Mm-hmm.
He extends a hand.
Alright.
And consider working with us in solving this case?
We are here for information of the unknown. Your case seems to be a part of that. So, as long as our interests are aligned, you have our aid. That's as much as I can promise you.
Sounds like a handsome deal then.
Alright. So how do you plan to get us into the basement? We heard it's exclusive.
Well, are you ready to go?
Ready as we'll ever be.
You might break your equipment again.
We have spares.
Alright then.
I'll look at Wonvu and Norman and just say, are the two of you ready to go? If there's blood in there, I swear to God, I'm bolting out.
I feel really quite fine.
Nigel,
Yes?
I'll turn my back on them
Mhm.
and get each of my Desert Eagles and check for ammunition. Make sure they're all loaded. Then I put them back in my holsters.
Do you have two of those eagles? I believe.
Yes.
What do you have egos?
You can have two, but remember that dual wielding is not as easy as you might think. It's always being someone who knows about guns, you will know that it is always preferable to hold with both hands. But both of them have their 7 rounds. You have extra magazines, and the safety is currently on, but you can turn it off if you like.
I'm gonna turn off the safeties.
Okay. You
Just
know how to handle
Be
this?
safe.
So, you're turning off the safeties to be safe. Okay. Yeah, you know how to handle guns, so it's not new to you. But your guns are prepared the way you want them to be prepared. Are we ready to go then?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'll just keep my my magnum in like arm's reach, like on the holster.
Good. Okay. You are all
Mine is
going.
on the back.
Yep. You're going to the basement. Kore, when you open the door, there is a large, possibly 6'6", well-built giant of a man who looms over all of you. Do you have an invitation?
Yeah, I'll show my phone.
He looks at it. You have been allowed guests.
As many as I want.
Are these your guests?
Yep, that makes 5 of us.
Please.
I say hi.
Hello. Please enter. And he points to the staircase leading downwards. There's lights, by the way, and you can hear softer music from down there. It's not as loud, not as EDM or electric, but it is very casual, smooth, very good to the ears, very pleasant to hear. It's just a calming tune of violins and what seems like an orchestra just playing in the background.
Oh, by the way, what's the bouncer? Was he just like? Did he look like he was just a regular guy?
He
Or
looks
is there,
like
is there
a...
something that I can do?
Ooh. Let's call that a spot hidden? I'll call it spot hidden.
Okay. Got a
Can I roll
14.
as well?
14.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. You see this bouncer. He is large, towering, 6'6", very largely built. he has an odd way of speaking now that you think about it. He's very slow, very monotone, very deep voice. And he just stands there. He just stands there and directs you, and when he directs you, he just looks back at the door and he never moves. That is, needless to say, unusual. Other than that, the minor detail that you notice is that his eyes seem gray. The pupils are gray. It's hard to see because it's dark, but you kind of see that very clearly. The eyes are very grayed out pupils. Will you go down the stairs?
Is it like oddly gray?
Yes,
Okay.
very
I'm just
dead,
gonna-
like pale gray.
Okay, I'm just gonna whisper that to Kore passing.
It does look odd. I'm gonna look at Luke and Ellen, and I'm gonna ask, are you detecting anything?
We thought it prudent not to put out our equipment. They make quite a bit of noise. Do you want us to?
No, let's not catch attention to ourselves.
So you all head down this staircase, and going down that staircase, taking a right, is a very quaint basement. It looks like it was very sophisticated, much more well built than the upper house. There are leather chairs that are expertly crafted, hand carved wooden tables that look like they were from possibly the 18th century, very Victorian decor, very exquisite vases, paintings, fine wine and champagne. Everything here is very pleasant, very quaint, and very aristocrat-like. And around here, there are no people. It's empty, but there is a door towards the end of this room. It is a very old-looking wooden door with a curved top. No windows or no bars or anything to look through, and it has a doorknob that looks very antique. It looks like the kind of key that you would see normally in TV, with that long kind of long cylindrical handle and then that weird shape at the end, and then there's like a flower to hold the key. It looks like it needs that kind of key. And the front of the door just says, "Enter, guests." The music is playing, by the way, on a turntable, those old sonograph turntables with a large horn that kind of plays the music.
Can I press my ear onto the door to listen in?
Make me a
Can I
listen
look
roll.
around while she...
Spot hidden for Wonvu, listen for Kore. Norman, you're free to roll if you want to look for something else. Spot hidden if you're looking.
Got a 29.
Okay.
41.
21 for listen, okay.
Oh my gosh. I got an 8-5.
85 on a spot hidden. That's fine. You don't have spot hidden, so the base is 25%. So an 85 means you fail, but you don't fumble. So Norman, you have difficulty looking for anything here or finding anything. You can push that roll, meaning you exert yourself to try to succeed at what you're trying to do, but it will come at a cost if you fail. Or you can let it go.
No.
Okay. You can also reduce your luck to make... Yes?
What's the cost? Is it luck or...
No. Pushing is free, but if you fail again, it will be a dire consequence. Something bad will happen. If you can use luck points to reduce your roll.
Ah, okay.
But if you
I'll let
reduce
it go for that.
Okay. You can let it go. All right. So, while you guys are looking, Wonvu, the thing that you notice around your part or where you're looking, Wonvu, You see odd
Mhm.
texts and books of various occult readings, actually. None of them seem related to your lever books, those odd books that you carry, but they are occult-like books talking about your typical satanic rituals, your summonings, very mundane things that you've seen before, but they are occult-related books. Other than
Yeah.
that, you find some unusual-looking daggers, very bejeweled handles with odd shapes for the daggers. They are in glass cases that are being displayed here on the cabinets. But the daggers look very odd. They don't look like they would be very good in a fight, but they're very ornate, almost ritualistic in nature. You also find something odd. It is
Mhm.
a book. It is behind all of these other items. It is the same kind of lever-bound book with the same symbol as the two that you already have.
Mhm.
But this one has a sort of small journal-sized lock on it, preventing it from being opened. Are you taking the book?
Okay, but it looks similar to
It is exactly
mine,
the
right?
same. It just has these odd symbols on it.
Yeah. All right, I'm taking.
You can take it. Nothing is stopping you. Kore, you listened in through the door. You can hear chanting or just repetitive language being spoken that's not English. You think it might be Latin? Maybe Latin? Possibly? You're not 100% sure?
I'm going to beckon Ellen over.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell her to,
Yes.
but without saying anything.
She puts her ear to the door. After a few while, she kind of
I'll
listens
check
in.
for CCTV camera.
There are no cameras here. But Ellen just
Mhm.
takes her ear out the door and says, "That is odd. It sounds like Latin, but very mangled or very distorted."
Can I try making a roll for it as well? Because I have some occult. Can I see if I recognize that chanting?
You can make an occult roll. Yours is a 20 though.
Can
Norman?
can I also
It's
can I
fine.
also do a roll because I have a language proficiency for Latin.
Oh yes.
Never mind, I got 50.
Make me a language roll for Latin. You're trying to go under a
Yeah.
35.
Yeah. Got the 53, so never mind.
What the heck? 91.
You almost fumbled that. Do you want to press it? Would you like to push your luck?
Yeah.
Would you like to push it and let it be?
Yeah.
Okay, pushing means you re-roll. But if you fail again, it might have some bad consequences.
Okay. Let's see what we have. Okay. So 21. 21.
Nice. A 21 out of your 35. You listen in at first and it's hard. You know Latin, but it's kind of hard. But you listen in a little harder. You press your ear more. The wood starts to scrape the side of your ear just for you to listen in. But as you press it in and you hear them a little louder and clearer, they are in fact chanting a very odd form of Latin. It's Latin that doesn't make sense. It's Latin that is, as Ellen said, bastardized. But you can make out enough of these words that you can somewhat guess the idea of what they're trying to say. it is a Latin that has been heavily altered, but they are saying something about blood and rituals and madness. Those are the words that you can pick out that you're definitely sure of, and they are talking something about blood rituals and madness and the master. That's about as much as you're going to get from that.
I think I'm gonna approach Corey and Wonvu and tell them, you want to know what they're chanting about?
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Okay, so I tell them about the way it was said and what the catchwords were. Looks like there is something going on down there.
At the mention of blood, Corey, a bit of a chill comes down your spine, but nothing debilitating. Just ugh.
I swear if there's any more blood in that room.
Well, you can always stay back if it bothers you, because there might, considering the chantings.
Corey, you receive a text. It is from Ari,
Yeah.
and it says, "If you're already in the party, we're at the basement. There's a door. It's got a sign. Feel free to walk in. Bring your friends."
I'll just reply on our way.
Okay.
Well, he's waiting for us.
Let's go, I guess.
You're walking in?
Oh,
Yeah, let's
this-
face the music.
Yeah.
Before you do,
Yeah.
Luke has... Oh, sorry. Ellen has her electromagnetic field detector in there. You can hear... Toot, 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 toot. It short circuits. It doesn't explode, but it short circuits. And Ellen just looks and says, "That is exactly what happened the last time." She just puts it in her bag.
Are you sure you didn't get that from a thrift shop?
Luke just kind of looks at you and says, "That is besides the point. It works. It's not as though being a paranormal investigator
Okay.
pays well, alright? Do it for knowledge."
Okay.
Can't attest to that.
Are we going in or something?
I guess we are.
We're already here.
Okay.
Then this mystery is not gonna solve by itself, so
You
let's
open the
Oh.
door, and inside you can see men in black robes with hoods over their head walking around a circle. The only light source of this room is this one swinging fluorescent light that is pointed at a pedestal that they are circling around. This pedestal has in the middle of it some sort of large porcelain bowl, and inside it is something red, some sort of red liquid. You're not sure what it is from your distance, but these men are circling that pedestal. And when you open the door, they all stop and look at you, and they take off their hoods. And you can see that some of them, Kore, two of them are the man and woman that you saw the other day who tried to get you an invite. The others you don't really recognize. Some of them you may have seen go down the basement when you first arrived the other day, but you're not sure. One of them is unmistakable to any of you. He is the infamous Aaron Stone. He stands at like 5'10", maybe 6 feet on a good day. This very nice platinum blonde hair. This very dark circles under his eyes like he hasn't slept in days. He's got this very pale complexion like he hasn't seen the sun in a while. and he welcomes you by saying, "Well, took you all long enough to get here." And you see that there's a
Sorry to
cultist
keep you
behind
waiting.
you who closes the door. Please walk forward. He's right. Come here, move forward to get initiated into the real party.
So,
Mind if you
you're
tell us a
just
bit
part-
about it?
It's a surprise.
I'm just gonna laugh nervously and then just follow what he says.
5 of you, including Ellen and Luke, move forward.
Wait, can I do a quick scan
Yes.
of the room first?
It is very dark, so if you're gonna do a spot hidden, you'll need a hard success.
I'll still try.
Can I try as well?
Yes, but anyone who tries needs a hard success.
I failed.
Not a fumble.
Got that's
No,
not
17
a hard
out of
success. We got the 48.
That is not enough. The
Hard
room
success.
is dimly
Yeah,
lit,
it's not enough.
barely lit, and you don't notice anything. But as you step forward, Aaron Stone walks past you, the 5 of you, kind of pacing back and forth in front of you. Welcome, everyone, to my party. Here, there is only one rule. You don't talk about what happens here ever. And if you choose to come back, you need to bring an offering.
An
No.
offering?
Yes, an offering. You will come to understand soon. Please, move forward towards the pedestal, neophytes.
I'm gonna move towards the pedestal, like he says.
Are all of you just following?
No.
Yes, I am.
I'm a bit worried.
The 5 of you.
Yeah, but
Yep.
I'm gonna follow, but I'm gonna be readying myself to draw one gun just in case.
Okay. The 5 of you move towards the pedestal and encircle it. It is a porcelain bowl of blood. This sends a tingle down Core's
Oh, shit.
spine, and you almost break down from it. But
I'm looking down.
I'm gonna try catching her,
Between-
helping her.
between you and the pedestal is about 5 feet of space, and Aaron walks around that 5 feet. He puts his thumb on the blood, and he starts smearing it on your foreheads with his thumb. He starts chanting that. Everyone in the room starts chanting that bastardized Latin again. And you are all.
While
Having-
everyone's distracted, can I try to take a picture discreetly and try to not get
Um,
caught?
You are all being observed and watched. No one's not looking at you,
Oh.
everyone's looking at you. You
Never mind.
get that blood smeared on your forehead. It is cold blood. And after the chanting and you've been bloodied in your forehead, Aaron just looks at all of you and says, "Now that you have been anointed, please step further towards the room." And he hands you all flashlights.
Okay.
Can I?
Yes?
I'm gonna fake that I'm afraid. I'm gonna hide behind Wonvu. Then I'll take out my phone and play open sound recorder and put it back in my pocket.
Okay. That's a.
I'm just gonna pet her hair. Because
But-
she's scared.
You're trying to be stealthy about this, so I'm gonna make you roll stealth. To not be noticed that you're doing this. You
If I
can have
contribute to her
you can have
shenanigans,
a
it'll be
bonus dice
bad.
for kind of hiding behind one who plays along.
Okay. Rolling. Come on.
Sounds like a bad roll.
Oh! I failed. At least it's not a fumble. But I failed.
What?
I got it. Wait! I'm pushing my luck. I'm using my luck.
How many points?
I got a 32.
So
So
you're
I'm losing
using
2 points.
2 points of luck to reduce your roll, make it a 30, enough to succeed. Alright. Yes.
Nigel, can I also check if I noticed what they're doing and if I can help them out? Is that possible?
Well, you can, but it looks like they've got it covered. Kore has
Okay.
sort of opened the sound recorder, closed it. You have flashlights, and as you shine it to the front, what you see in the direction where you were told to shine those flashlights is a large wall with a blood symbol drawn on it. An odd looking symbol. And it is made of blood, but you all see that blood move as if it was alive and sentient. It just starts moving. The symbol looks like it's rotating. It doesn't make sense because it's as if the blood itself is kind of dragging itself along the wall, formulating this symbol. Please make me sanity checks.
How do you make a sanity check again?
Make a roll, and it has to be lower than your sanity.
Yeah, it's lower. It's 44.
Okay.
Yes! I passed.
24.
That is good. All of you
27.
maintain your composure as this odd occurrence happens, and you're not entirely sure what's going on. The blood is alive. It's moving along that wall. It is... Blood doesn't do that. Gravity doesn't work that way. Blood doesn't paint itself along the wall. But as it does this, eventually it stops. And it just stays how it is. And it is an unsavory sight. It is sending a chill down Kore's spine because this is blood smeared on the wall. Human blood. And the reason you know it's human is because when you shine your flashlights just a little bit lower, there is a body that is lying horizontally to the side of that wall, and the blood is actually being drawn upwards from that body onto the wall, and it drags across this wall. The blood is almost telepathically being dragged to form this symbol. None of you have ever seen anything of the sort happen before. This is defying physics and reality, and this is just insane. At the sight of this, Ellen starts to... It's no, it's not. No. That can't. No. And Luke is trying to calm her down. It's all right. Some trick. It's not a trick. There's something there. There's something there. There's something there. I need to get out of here. She bolts out of here. As she does, she is interrupted by the cultists who catch her. No, but you can't leave now. We're just starting. She is insane. She's losing her mind. No.
Is there nothing we can do about this?
You can attempt to talk to the cultists. What do you want to do about it?
I'm just gonna say, can't you really catch her break? She seems to be afraid.
You all wanted to come down here. This is the price. Now, while you're all distracted, looking at Ellen, who is being forced to stand next to you again, as she's breaking down. She's in a fetal position sitting down next to Luke, who's trying to comfort her. When you look at this scenario, and then you turn around back to the wall where the blood is. The blood is gone, and so is the body. There is no blood, there is no body, but the wall now has a door. And the cultists all look at you. Go on. Get inside.
Just gonna walk towards the door then.
The door is a metal door,
What's in there earlier?
and it has a pulled handle. You can open it if you want. Ellen is being comforted by Luke as you guys enter. Ellen is just repeatedly saying, "No, no, 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 don't go in, don't go in. Please, no, Luke, don't go in. We can't. Don't go in. Don't go in."
Just gonna look at Ellen and then at Kore and librarian.
Okay. The librarian has a name.
Yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry, I forgot.
While
it
you
again?
guys
Norman?
while you guys are looking,
Norman.
Ellen has had enough, and she pulls out a 45 Magnum, points at the cultist. Let us out! Let us out of here! I will kill every last one of you fuckers if you don't let us out of here! Ellen,
God.
stop! Ellen! The cultists are not phased by this weapon. They do not move, they do not panic, they do not do anything. I swear to God, I will shoot every last one of you! Let us out! They're all just standing there.
I'm gonna look at Kore and then wait for a response, whether I should open the door or not.
Luke,
Is Aaron there?
Luke looks at you guys and says, "Just go in. I'll keep after my sister. Just see what you find, or I can go in. You know, I'm going in. Just please watch over my sister."
No, we're going in. We're just, yeah.
You take care of your sister. We'll take care of the thing. We'll take care of things
All
from
right.
here.
Aaron just kind of stands in front and
Wait.
says, "This is acceptable. She clearly requires some recovery. The rest of you can enter. Ahead."
Yeah, we'll just turn the knob then and then walk in.
There's no knob. It's
Wait,
sort of just
before we enter,
yes.
can I ask?
Yeah, I'll just
I
walk in.
want to ask Aaron real quick.
Mhm.
What was that symbol earlier? What does it mean?
All will be answered when you enter.
Alright.
And the body? Is it gone?
Do you see a body?
I saw it. I don't see it now.
Then perhaps it is gone.
Interesting.
Luke,
Alright.
Luke, don't let them in. Don't let them enter, Luke. Please, don't let them enter, Luke. No. It's all right, Ellen. It's all right. Look, they can handle themselves. I'm right here with you, all right? Just calm down. Are you guys sure you want to go?
We're fine. We'll be fine.
All right. No,
We'll be
you
okay.
won't. No, you won't. No, you won't. No, you won't.
I'm already walking in, man.
Yeah, I'm going to lean towards Luke. I'm going to grab a business card.
Okay.
And I'm going to gently slide it on his hand and just say, in case something goes wrong, or if we go missing,
Got
then
it.
I'll follow Wonvu.
You all enter the door. It is a corridor. The door is closed behind you. The corridor is dark, but you have your flashlights. You can walk past it,
Mm-hmm.
and towards the end, you turn right. It is only a one single right turn, and that right turn ends up in the clearing, a large room, a circular room. It's at least maybe 50, 60 feet in diameter, you figure. It's not too large. In that room, you see a large well made of stone edges and a clear as day blue water. Crystal clear, you can see the bottom of it. The water itself is gleaming. It resembles water when it's being hit by moonlight. But as far as you can tell in this room, there is no light source. The water itself seems to just glow.
Ha 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 ha. I didn't know where this is going. Yeah.
I'm gonna take
Let me look
another sip
around
from the
room.
beer.
Spot hidden for looking around the room. Norman?
I'm gonna take a sip from my beer again, and I'm gonna say it out loud. What have we gotten ourselves into?
What indeed?
Yeah, I don't know either. But it's part of the job.
What's the spot hidden roll?
Unfortunately.
I got an 8.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is an extreme success for you.
Yes, it is.
You look around this room with your flashlight. The only source of light is in fact that pool of glowing water, but as you look around, you can see what seems to be hieroglyphs. Or they're not exactly hieroglyphs, but they resemble drawings. It's as if someone is painting or drawing the events. And these are various events in history, from the Roman Empire to the Inquisition to various historical events, the Black Plague, the Napoleonic Wars, the Crusades, all of them chronologically aligned along the wall as you circle clockwise from the door, circling clockwise back to the other side of it. These are all historical events.
Mm-hmm.
They are in chronological order, and in your bag you hear a like something opened inside your bag.
Huh. I'm gonna look through my bag and then look at what opened.
The third book that you had held has lost the padlock, and it is now free to open. And the other two books that you carry with you are acting odd, or they haven't done anything, but you feel something from those books.
What I want to do is to like lay them out so I could see all of them at the same time or something. But at the same time, I think I just want to look at the third book for now because I haven't really looked through it.
You open the third book, and it starts off with half a sentence. And it is again an account of history that is completely inaccurate. The dates are wrong, the people are wrong, the names are wrong. Again, it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But the ink is wet, and you smear it on your fingers.
After that, can I look through the second and the first, like, in that order?
Yes. The first book is a perfect representation of history. The second book, spot on and very accurate, more accurate than you remember. If you pointed out to Norman, the second book does not say these inaccuracies anymore. They are 100% accurate about the accounts of history. And the second book ends like the first, mid-sentence, mid-paragraph. And then you go to the third book, which connects that sentence and that paragraph, and the accounts are once again wrong. But in the third book, you have now reached the period of the 1700s. It's taken and wrong,
It's like,
but they are accounts.
Feels like we're unraveling history. I don't know how I feel about it.
Kore, you want to do something?
Yeah, can I press my ear on the door where we came from?
The door is
Listen.
past the hall. The door is further down the hallway. You'd have to walk all the way back.
Yeah, I'll do a quick check. I'll
Okay.
just run.
Um,
What? Fast.
the door is a pretty large steel door, so you need a hard success to hear through it.
Fine.
The rest of you, what do you do in this room? What would you like to attempt?
I'd like to look around if there's any writings aside from the hieroglyphs that I can
Can I try
understand.
copying the hieroglyphics or something?
To copy the hieroglyphics, you will need to draw, or you don't have to draw them, but you can kind of guess what historical significance they hold with an intelligence roll, and then you can kind of write down the history, or you can make an art drawing roll
Alright,
to draw it.
alright.
Norman,
I'll
what did
just
you want to
make
do?
an intelligence roll.
Norman, what were you going to do?
I wanted to go. I want to go around the room or the chamber and check if there's any writings of any sort that I can understand, whether it be Latin or English.
Make a spot hidden roll. For you, you need 25%.
Below
Below
that,
25%.
It's successful if it's below 25.
Yes. Corey, what did you roll?
I got a 17.
Is that a
I-
hard success?
A hard success, but not the critical type, I think.
You need spot hidden, and you have 28 for hard success, so that's 17. That's good. You listen in through the door, and you can in fact hear more chanting. Same chanting from earlier. But you no longer hear Ellen whimpering or Luke saying anything.
Okay.
But they are just chanting. Now, Norman, what did you roll? Oh, sorry, Corey, yeah.
I'm guessing it's too far for me to actually record their chanting.
It is too far for a phone to record. Norman?
Yeah, I'll just go back.
It's 004, so that's 4%.
4. That is, I believe, an extreme success for spot hidden. You have a chance to increase your spot hidden after this. Yes, you can find... Oh, right, I forgot to tell you. Whenever you make a successful roll without pushing or without using luck, you can have a chance to increase the stat later on. But you look around the room and you find markings that were initially just look like kind of odd markings, but they are in fact Latin. Very well written Latin. Now, you need to make the language roll for Latin, but you can do so with a bonus dice. A bonus dice means you roll 2 of the percentile dice and 1 d10, and you take the better roll. So you take the lower percentile dice number.
Okay, so I rolled 2 d10s first.
Yes, the percentile and then the d10.
I got a... What did I get for language? It's I got a 41.
So you can
for
re-roll
that
the
one, and then
percentile dice.
The percentile dice. Okay. Fudge. 0, so I got a 1%.
That is
that
a
right?
Yeah.
critical success. You go
Okay.
through the Latin inscriptions, and despite the fact that they are somewhat distorted, you can understand this. These are dating the exact things that this histograph, or whatever these drawings are representing. They are putting the date, the time, and based on your knowledge, are accurate. Now, ordinarily, It's written in Latin. Okay, that's weird, but that's not, that doesn't warrant some sort of weird investigation. But the difference is, when you look at these, they are historical accounts, but there is a lot of space left for something to happen. And the last account of quote-unquote major history that has been recorded, this isn't recording every single piece of history, this is recording landmarks, things like the Black Plague, the World War I, World War II, 9/11. The last thing that has been recorded here were some recent terror attacks from a few years ago. Now, the odd thing here is that this is Latin, and the writing is as old as it is with the ones that have accounted for maybe centuries ago. This is old. This is written, to the best of your knowledge, this is written before these happened.
So they're like,
If you date,
what you call that?
if you date the writings based on how old the stone is, how old it's been carved, these are things that you would know as given your profession. They're old, older than the actual event itself.
These are premonition.
Yes.
Tama.
Wonvu, what did you roll?
I got. Wait, what did I roll again? What was I rolling for? Forgot the
Intelligence.
number. I roll again. Oh yeah. I got 76.
That fails because your intelligence is 70, so no dice for that.
Wait, is it 70? I thought.
Your intelligence is 70. Your education is 80.
Oh yeah, I got them mixed up.
So
No, my education.
your education's 80, your intelligence 70. So the roll does fail unless you want to push it.
Yeah, I'll just reroll.
Okay.
Like push it. That's better. 56.
Yeah. You can guess the historical events that are happening here. And combining Norman's reading of the Latin and these events, the two of you come to a very odd and possibly unnerving conclusion. The Latin is being written ahead of the drawings. Meaning there is more Latin and descriptions than there are drawings. And when one who kind of points this out, Norman, you realize that there's more Latin to be read. There are things that have not happened. Talks of World War III, talks of pandemics, talks of the collapse of countries, the death of leaders. These are events that didn't happen. Events that haven't happened. But Wonvu, you don't spot drawings that correspond to the Latin inscriptions that Norman can see.
That's odd. But the drawings look like they're as old as the Latin, right?
Yes, they do.
That's odd. How can they be the same age, but it's
Written.
still being written, yeah. And how do they not correspond to each other? At least not yet.
Question is, who would have written the? It's unimaginable that someone or something would have seen this happen, and
with stark accuracy as well. Well, we aren't sure yet, because there's some dates that we're not sure that will happen yet.
Yeah. Who would have written this? Can I?
Fiction.
Mm,
Is there a reference on the writings? Who would have,
There are
like
footnote.
writing these?
There are footnote.
Is there footnote there?
There's like
Norman,
Appendix.
you can make me an education roll, Norman.
Okay.
This is just going
While
to be
he's doing
based
that,
on
can
anything
I
you've read.
Can I glance back at the well while he's doing that?
You can. Norman?
Yeah.
I got a 67.
That is well below your education, so you will succeed that. The occult is not your thing. You don't have or believe in supernatural. You're a man of science and logic. But you've, as your librarian in your history, you have encountered these odd, strange things before. You've normally disregarded them as fools' ramblings or whatever they might be. But one thing is certain. These things that are happening, these inscriptions, these writings, one thing that you're certain of is they were not made by chisel and hammer the way normal carvings are made. If you're going to write on stone, tick, 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 you want to hammer a chisel down and make the drawing. That's usually the only way to carve on stone. The way this has been, quote-unquote, carved is too smooth to be a chisel. There's no roughness to it. It's almost as if the rocks themselves depressed to form these inscriptions and these drawings. This is too rough to be ancient carving methods, but at the same time, this is too old, or it looks too dated to be something that was made by modern technology. It's as if the stone just melded itself. And as you're all looking through this, Kore, you notice something where they stopped looking. Wand was gone to the pool, Norman has kind of looked around, and you are looking where they were looking. Something is being written, or rather, the stone is moving. Do you point this out to him?
I'm gonna move closer to inspect it. Yeah, I'm just gonna call on to them and say, something's happening here. I'm not sure what, but I'll move towards it.
The stone is being pressed in on itself. Imagine if stone was bending inwards to form shapes and drawings and lettering. That's what's happening. And the stone itself is melding and forming something odd. It shows you an image of the three of you, and this room, and the well. When you point this out to Norman and Wonvu, well, Wonvu's at the well. So Norman, when Kore points this out, do you go up to her and look at it for yourself?
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it then.
So the two
What
of you
is
make
happening
me a sanity roll. Just the two of you. Wonvu has his own problems at the moment.
Is
Oh,
it
no
possible
problems.
to
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Oh, no problems.
Kore, what?
Is it possible that when I saw it happening, can I take out another spare phone and video it?
If you
As it
succeed the
happens.
sanity roll.
Yeah. I succeeded!
Hey, you're doing pretty good
What's
for
my
yourself.
sanity? What's my sanity? What's my sanity? Don't jinx it.
40?
I succeeded.
Oh, okay,
30s.
below.
Thanks.
Okay. You are both below. You have succeeded your sanity, so in spite of the odd occurrence and stone itself acting sentient and shaping itself in front of you, showing you an image of the three of you, you maintain composure. This is, safe to say, not the strangest thing you've seen all night. Or all day, rather. But You just look at it. And Kore, you can take a picture of it. But
Taking a video actually while it happened.
when you look at it from the screen of your phone, it is just a stone wall. In fact, when you move the screen across all these inscriptions that you can see very clearly, it's just stone. They don't show on video.
But do I see the well?
You can
Does it show in the camera?
you can see the well. Now, Wonvu, while Kore and Norman are
Yay!
figuring out their problems, Wonvu, you have looked into the well,
Mhm.
and the well shows you a perfect, crystal clear reflection of yourself. And then it changes. The water starts to ripple from where your face starts. And now you're seeing visions of the past. You're seeing... It's almost like watching a historical movie. Some sort of medieval fight. Medieval warfare.
Strange that.
And you're seeing time progress. And you can see what is very clearly a black plague. Or you see very clearly what is happening. The black plague enacting itself in the well. And you just keep moving forward and forward in time until you see a vision of yourself. And then you see a vision of all three of you in this room right now. Except it's upside down. You are the top view. You're seeing their feet. You're seeing it from the bottom. And then you can see in the well your face looking directly into the water. And now you're looking at yourself like a reflection. Except your reflection smiles at you.
I'm just gonna
Make a sanity roll.
stumble back.
Make a sanity roll. One.
Stumble back. Oh, that's
Sanity roll one.
10? That's a 10.
What did you roll?
That's a 10.
10.
10.
You are fine for now. You stumbled back. You just saw that, and the rest of you, before you approached the well, you saw Wonvu just stumble away from it.
Are you alright?
My own fucking reflection started smiling at me. But it's like I was watching all the shit humanity has been through. I saw it go down, and then I saw us, and then I saw my reflection smile at me.
Wonvu, you have seen the well, you have held the books, and you have seen the drawings. So you can make me, because you passed sanity, make me an intelligence roll, please.
Yeah. I'm 16, alright.
You have 17 intelligence.
Oh, nice. I got 39.
Nice. Wonvu, you realize a pattern here. From your books
Mm-hmm.
to the inscription on the wall to the well, you realize that the historical accounts are not complete. They're not detailing every point in history, but they are detailing bad things in history. The Black Plague, the murder of the Muslims with the Crusade, the Roman Empire Purge, the destruction of Carthage, World War I, World War II,
Coronavirus.
100 Years' War, the major wars of the world, the rise of Adolf Hitler, assassinations, Cold Wars, lots of major events in history that have shaped history, that have changed the direction of humanity. These are these historical events that are being recorded, very specifically the bad parts of history, the terrible things that have happened throughout history. Your book, these drawings, that well, they all show the same thing, those terrible events of history.
Mm-hmm.
Wonvu,
Just gonna.
your books, you have an odd feeling in the back of your head that you should be opening them. It's a nagging feeling, like it matters right now.
Just gonna scramble Like, I'm just gonna check out everything in my bag and then just arrange the books and then open them all.
First book, second book, third book. They all have the exact same accounts of history that they do in the wall, along the drawings, the Latin inscription, and the well that you saw, the historical events in the well that you saw. We can see all of them written in the book. Now the odd thing is, the third book is somehow now accurate. The third book now shows an accurate depiction of history, oddly enough. It has changed again. The book, the third book, is now half full, and it has reached modern day. This timeline, this day, it has reached the modern day. It has reached, again, it's reached the modern day, the history of the modern day, the worst thing that's happened so far up to this century, including World War II, all very accurate, but the paragraph is not complete, and half of the book is not yet written. I need you, for realizing this, to make a sanity roll.
Yeah, sure. They have lost 70 rolls there.
Audrey, I think your audio or your video has hung on us.
Really? It's still going for me. Hello? I'll just reconnect. Is that okay?
Yep. But roll the sanity anyway.
Okay.
Norman and Kore, what would you like to do?
I'm still taking videos of the place. I'm gonna try to put the video, hover it over the well, but I'm not gonna look at it.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Better.
I got 42.
Okay. You are fine.
God, I'm staying strong, God.
The book is odd, and it is strange how it does this. It just, you don't understand anymore what is going on. You don't understand what it's doing, but you understand that it is recording history, and you have found it now at that point where it has reached your history. You don't know what it will do if it records further than that. This thing has been writing itself the entire time. Now you have a book that has reached your history, your world.
Is it just gonna keep going and going?
You don't know. You just know that it is now in the modern day.
Just gonna look up at like everyone. How are they reacting to me right now? Just having a little moment.
How is everyone doing? Audrey, I think your video's still down.
Is it? Oh my god, wait, hold on.
I'm just taking videos.
Right, Kore, you
hard
hovered.
not to pay attention.
Kore, you hovered your phone over the well, but you're not looking at it, right?
Yo.
Yep, not looking at it, just hovering it.
Okay. So you don't really know
Maybe
what's
around,
going
like,
on.
3 seconds, 4 seconds.
Okay. And yeah, it's done. What do you do after that?
Is it better now?
Yes, it is.
I'll shove it under my... I'm gonna stop recording, then I'm gonna put the phone on my boat inside of it.
Okay.
But I'll keep the audio recording going.
Okay. What would you all like to do in this room?
I'm gonna help
What's this?
one. I'm gonna help Wonvu. Look at the third book and see and if I can make sense out of what it's trying to tell us. If it's really telling us something.
Make me an intelligence roll.
85.
Your intelligence is a 70? Was it?
70.
You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
spend
it's a 70.
You can spend 15 points of your luck to reduce the roll, so 85 minus 15 will be 70 to succeed. Or you can push the roll, meaning roll again.
I'm
Can
gonna
I
push
help
it.
him? If I
Um,
could.
not for this one. You can push the roll.
I'm gonna push it. Yes. Yeah, I can push it. I'll push it. What the heck? Wait. I thought it was an 8. It's a 35.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 35.
You try to decipher what's happening with the book, and it has strange recordings of it, strange feeling to it, but you realize as you look at the book, the recordings of history recorded here have changed. The book, this third book at least, you haven't looked at the other two. This third book no longer records world history. This third book, as you hold on to it, records your history as a person. Your parents, grandparents, your family tree, everything you've been through, up to the point that you have arrived at this well. It is a detailed account of your life personally. And this is not normal. Please make a sanity roll. Mm-hmm.
Please be below 60. Oh, ooh. 49.
Okay. You are fine.
Lapit-lapit na yun.
You are fine. This is bad, to say the least. Terrible that you're seeing your history in a book that you've never seen before, and the ink is again smudged on your finger. What is this? You can't help but think to yourself, how does it know who I am? Why does it have everything, including things you've never told anyone, things that no one, not even your family, knows that you've done, secrets that you've never told. It is so detailed. It's as if someone wrote every word of your mind. It's as if someone watched your life from start to end and wrote everything. Every single detail, down to the type of clothes you were wearing, down to the exact words you spoke. Everything is recorded here, very detailed. This tops anything the NSA could ever pull off.
I'm gonna throw this one out there and I'm gonna whisper to the book. Who are you?
Talk to the book, and you open a blank page, and it is in Latin at first. So you need to make a language roll because it writes something in a blank page in Latin. The rest of you see Norman doing this, by the way.
God, I want to try to get the other books out of curiosity.
Oh my gosh, 61.
That is
Yeah,
not
it's a 61,
enough.
so I failed.
That's not enough to decipher the Latin. You cannot push this one. So if you're not spending luck, This roll will
And
fail. Kore, yes.
Do I have mobile data in this place?
Hmm. No
Basic
signal.
ba?
No signal gets through here.
God. Looks like it's the same as my room. I'm kidding. Yeah. Can I try to check if I can take a snap of the... Can I see the words?
I think. You're looking at the book then.
I'm gonna ask Norman first. Do you see anything odd in that book? I just heard you whisper.
I look at Corey and say, it is like talking to me, but this time I can understand.
Can I translate the other book?
Audrey, your video stopped again.
I'm using data. Why did it stop? Oh my god.
What does it say exactly?
Is it still gone?
It's in Latin. And for some reason, this one I cannot understand. It's so strange.
So there's no data. Do you mind taking a snap of it? I'm actually a bit terrified the last time I looked through that book.
Speaking of data, actually, I think it would be reasonable for a librarian to have a language app. So, if you want to run it through that, I think it's reasonable for a librarian to have a language app, especially since you took up Latin.
Yeah. I was gonna install Google Translate in my phone. It's about
Okay. I get my phone out, and maybe you can, I have a language app here. See if you can do something about it.
Yeah, I'm not looking at that book. The last time I looked at it, it kind of freaked me out.
Maybe you type it in, Norman.
Fine.
Okay, I'm typing it in.
Can I check out the ceiling if there's anything odd in the ceiling?
The ceiling
Just gonna look at the...
is a reflection of where you are. It is a large circular mirror.
Nothing odd is going on, just us?
You can see that, and in the water reflection of the pool is, well, the water is black on the ceiling, in the reflection of the mirror. Norman, you have typed the Latin into your app. When you ask the book, "Who are you?" this Latin came out. The book has basically said, this is a terrible translation, but you have enough intelligence to kind of figure out translation versus reality. It is saying the future, the past, and everything in between. How would you like to proceed?
Just gonna look at the writing on the wall.
Same writing.
Then I'm gonna look at the book.
Which
like
one?
All of the books. I think I'm gonna look through the second one.
The second book still holds an account of history. However, the second book is substantially thicker now, 3 times as thick as it once was, and it holds the accounts that you read from the first book and the third book prior. It's as if this book completed itself, and it still ends in the modern day. This book, despite being incredibly thick and holding much more information, is also consistent of empty pages that have yet to be written.
Scary. Can I look at
Please
the
make
first book
a
again?
sanity roll, Wonvu.
Oh yeah.
And your video stopped.
Caught me off guard. Why does it keep stopping? Is it really gone?
Yep.
Hold on.
I'm frozen.
Hey, is it back on?
Lagging, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Please make a sanity roll.
I'm using data, man. I don't know why it's like this.
Try Wi-Fi.
Wait down.
Sanity roll, please. Kore.
Hello?
Yes, make a sanity roll.
I got 49? Oh, that's a 6, I think. Yeah, that's a 6.
That is 49, 46. Either way.
46.
That's enough to pass. You are looking at the book. It has changed and it has accumulated all of the history from the combined of the two books, and it is so thick now. But it still has empty pages that have yet to be written. Now, you wanted to look at the first book. The first book has nothing written on it anymore. Completely empty. Same old pages, but there is no ink and nothing is written. Kore, what do you do after seeing the reflection on the roof?
Take a snap again with my phone. The whole mirror.
There's
Focus on my
no
phone.
picture that comes out. It is a rocky, kind of cave-like roof.
So there's no mirror.
There is a mirror. It's not showing up on your phone. Make a sanity check.
God damn it. Oh boy. Yeah, so I rolled a 96.
Ah, shit.
That's not a fumble. Please roll me a
It is not.
1d4.
1d4?
Yes. Your poor
Not a
sanity.
1d6 this time?
Nope. The sanity varies.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I got stuck! I got a 3.
You are at 45 sanity. You lose 3 points of sanity. You point your phone. This is the second time this has happened. You're trying to take a picture of something. Your eyes can see it, but as you look in the phone screen, nothing is showing up. Is your phone dirty? You clean up the screen, nothing shows up still. And it is, needless to say, annoying at first. Maybe it's a parlor trick. Maybe someone's playing a prank. Until at some point you just have had enough. You keep trying to point it out, but nothing is happening and nothing is being shown on your phone, and this isn't normal. This is odd, unusual, beyond reality. It is very, very annoying. Please roll me a 1d10 to see the bout of madness that triggers from your loss of sanity.
Got a 6.
Okay. Roll me another d10.
A 7?
So, at the realization of the oddity of your situation and the unusual circumstances that are happening, this house has not been kind to you. The blood, the ghoul, this marking on the walls, your phone, nothing in this house has been going your way, and it overloads your mind. It makes you lose it. It makes you so stressed out. This is beyond anything that's been discussed in your therapy. It makes you freak out so much that you faint and lose consciousness from the stress for 7 hours.
7? Oh.
Kore has
Oh,
fainted in front of all of you. how would the two of you like to proceed?
Okay.
Just gonna help him up. Her
Her.
up. Put her in a more comfortable position.
Yep. I'm gonna help out too.
Okay, you all help out.
And do I try to wake her up and slowly shake her and say, "Hey, you okay? Kore,
Yes.
wake up!"
She has officially passed out.
Gosh, what is
Is it time for you guys to leave this
happened
room?
to her?
Or would
wait,
you like to
before-
take a look at the pool again?
Wait, can you leave us now?
I'd like to look. Nigel, remind me that the third book is still there and it's still writing.
The third book
Or
is
like-
there.
But
The The third book is with you. The second book grew thicker, and the first book is
Okay.
empty.
okay. Just the third book, since I'm trying to investigate what happened to Mr. Westway's daughter, Alicia.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if if it's recorded there, if it's telling me that all the secrets that I've kept, it's written there,
Mhm.
and I know that only I know it.
Yes.
So I have a feeling that it might give me an insight on what happened to Alicia.
Okay.
So I'm gonna look at the book if it's there.
The book only shows your history and your
Oh,
family. Who I will be nice and give someone a chance to wake up Kore.
Mm-hmm.
Kore, make me a Constitution roll, I guess. Yeah, Constitution roll sounds about right.
I got an 11.
Okay.
Really?
You wake up and Kore, you're a little confused. You are baffled at everything that's happened, everything that's going on. It's unusual, it's strange, and it compels you to go find some alcohol. To your list of manias,
shit.
you now have dipsomania, the abnormal craving for alcohol. You need
Do I
it
still
bad.
see him holding his beer cup? Yeah, I still see
I
him
have a
holding his
bottle
beer
of
cup,
soju
right?
in my bag.
Yes, you do,
I'm
and yes,
just
you do.
going to snatch. Yeah, I'm
Yep.
gonna snatch
Um,
Norman's cup and immediately dunk it down.
Yep, Norman, Kore has woken up, taken your beer. Yeah.
I'm so done with this fool. I'm gonna throw the cup down. Just
Yep.
pissed off.
I thought I was an alcoholic.
Wonvu, Norman has informed you of what's happening with the third book.
Shut up.
Would you like to take a look, or how would you like to proceed with this?
Me says no, Wonvu says yes.
We're slave to our characters.
So, Wonvu, you'd like to take a look at the book. The third book,
Yeah.
Wonvu.
Now, what's the worst?
Norman, how would you describe to them what the book tells you?
I would go with how you described it. It's telling
You're-
me secrets, and
But-
this is a treasure trove for the NSA. If it's
Discovered.
this is actually real.
Yeah. Okay. But do you tell Wonvu that it is specifically your secrets? It's specifically your life that's on the book?
No, I'm not gonna tell that. I'm just gonna say that it's a treasure trove for the NSA.
But do you
If
give
they
it?
can-
But you
can-
give it to Wonvu to read.
Yeah.
Okay, Wonvu. You open the book.
Dami tayo dito.
You do not know, Wonvu, what this book is for, but when you open it, it no longer records history. It also records your life, your family tree, for as long as it goes back. Apparently, you're not only part Russian, you're also part Polish. Somewhere far, 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 far away from your family tree. And towards the end of the book, when you kind of move to the end of it.
Whiter than I thought that was.
Yes,
Oh my God.
you're vanilla white. You move down the family tree and you go to the end of this book. Now, it is the same scenario. Half the book is unwritten, and the other half ends with you in this room. A written description of you in this room, and the last sentence, the same with Norman, just says, and Wonvu picks up this third book and reads his own history inside of it. And this book
Not gonna lie, that's kinda cool.
has your history. Please make a sanity check.
I'm gonna say, not gonna lie, that's kinda cool. It's trippy. Okay, I think I failed. I got an 80.
Oh no. Wonvu, you have 59. Roll me a 1d6. Do you know the librarian is holding strong?
Well, I feel like it was about time till I failed, because I've been winning all the time. I got a 2.
2 points of sanity brings you down to 57. Wonvu, this book gives you a strange fear. It terrifies you that this thing knows everything about you, things you've never told anyone, things you would rather keep hidden, skeletons in the closet you do not want uncovered. This book knows. And it is, even as we speak, as you read it, writing down, and Wonvu feels distraught about the discovery of what is written in this book. Wonvu, roll me a 1d10.
Then that's an 8.
Wonvu, this book, as you read it, describes your very emotion right now, how you're feeling, and you immediately drop it,
Shut up. Oh.
panic, and run. You are forced to flee the scene. The rest of you see this happen. But Wonvu is just not having any of this, runs right out of that room. Do you follow? Or do you do something else?
Yeah, I'll pack up the books, but I'm not gonna look at it. I'm just gonna tuck it in my bag and just follow.
Norman, are you done with this room?
Yeah, I believe I am.
Okay.
It's like
Now,
sparks.
before Kore and Norman leave, I would like the two of you to make me a spot hidden roll before you guys run as well.
Okay.
What's the basic in
I got it.
25?
You guys
25.
grab onto the books for me, by the way. I think I left
Corey's
them
grab.
at the door.
What did you
I
get?
got a 13.
Okay, nice. Oh, that's very good.
Got the 20.
20.
23.
No, that's enough.
23.
You're trying to
23.
get below the number. So you're trying to get below
Oh,
25.
okay.
So both of you
Alright.
pass. Norman, you got normal success. You realize that the part of the wall is different as you exit, as you leave here. Just in passing, you're not sure, but you think it's a little different. And Kore, as you leave, you know what Norman is talking about. You know what kind of caught his eye a minute before he just decided to walk off. This wall now depicts the three of you leaving this room.
You're kinda cute.
Yeah, let's just follow. Let's leave. Wonvu, hold on! I'm just gonna scream while chasing
Just
after him.
yelling like,
Wonvu, you've run out, forced the door open, and you've run out. The cultists are all there, still chanting. even Luke are nowhere to be found. Aaron looks at you and says, "Your friends were becoming troublesome, so they were just allowed to leave, but please don't bring them back in here again. We don't need that kind of company here. As for the rest of you, I trust you must have found that room rather interesting. You may leave now. Return as you would please."
Alright.
You mentioned
Okay.
something about an offering if we return.
Yes.
She's fucking weird, man.
And what about it?
What is it that you require? Another person to open the portal?
No. You need only bring yourselves and your minds. Should you choose to return, of course. You are free to leave.
Alright.
We have other business to attend to. Good evening. It's odd that he says good evening. It's only been, for you guys, a few hours. But when you check your phone, you've been there for several hours. It's now way past dinner time. It's like 9 p.m.
Oh.
You feel like it's only been an hour or so. Free if you're pushing it. This looks like it's been 6-7 hours even. It's 9 p.m. now. As you leave the house, the partygoers are either passed out or gone. The night sky is as beautiful as it is. A full moon shines over Jericho City. You are all free to go for now. Free to go home.
Before we leave, can I linger by the staircase and wait until they chant again? So I can record it in my phone?
You cannot, because that bouncer is waiting for you to leave at the base of the staircase. And he just tells you, you need to go now.
Oh, and
Alright.
first Wonvu, is Wonvu still running or?
No, Wonvu's okay with that now.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as I'm out of there.
But as you
But
all
you guys
leave,
have the books. Can you give me the
yes, Kore has the books.
It's in a wrap.
As you all leave, where would you like to meet, or where would you like to go to discuss what has happened? Maybe get your bearings. The diner is your usual spot.
Wait, can I text the siblings?
Yes. Oh wait, none of you took their phone numbers.
Can I check my phone if I received a message from them?
You did not.
God.
On the way out, can we check if we saw them in the party?
Around the party, definitely not. There's less people here, and none of them look like them. They're all stoned or drunk, or both.
I'll search them up in Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. I'll search their names there. Social
Yes.
media.
Luke and Ellen Collins. You can search them. It's very common, the name. You don't really see them. But, at some point, maybe you find them. Make a computer use roll.
Oh, computer use. Yeah, I'm rolling.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
The base is 5%.
I got a 71.
That's
so-
not enough. Would you like to push it?
Yeah, I'll actually push it.
Remember the cost of pushing.
Rolling. I still failed. I got a 21.
Are you using your luck?
No.
Oh wait, no, you can't use your luck on the push roll.
Mm.
You're looking at your phone, you're trying to find them. Where are they? You snap your phone just a little bit. It doesn't fully break, but it's enough to kind of snap it. And you cut your finger a little bit from the broken glass. It was just a burner phone, but the rest of you see that.
I'll just take my handkerchief and try to open my bones and just take the memory card from that phone and slip it into another phone and check again.
Computer use?
I mean, make sure that the file's in my phone.
Ah, okay, then yes, it's fine. Where would you guys like to meet?
Are still fine.
Where would you guys like to meet to discuss?
Sa diner na lang ulit siguro.
Okay.
Diner na lang.
The three of you make your way back to the Spades Diner. Of course, known for being open 24 hours a day. You go there, and Allison, the waitress, she's got this beautiful red hair, and the Spades Diner has a very 50s aesthetic to it. The red and white candy striped dress and apron that she wears, the red leather seats, and the white kind of table aesthetic. Very 50s. It's got posters of Casablanca, Breakfast at Tiffany's, the old 50s classics. Very with the aesthetic. Allison goes up to you. Hey, Kore. I was actually just about to end my shift, but if you're here, I'm happy to serve.
Thank you, darling. Just fill for us.
Okay. And you, looking at Norman, what would you like?
Coffee, black, and if you have some bacon and eggs, that would be nice.
Sure, absolutely. Coming up. She kind of, very, again, in line with the 50s aesthetic, she's in roller skates, just skates around to the back.
Really adorable.
So nice.
She's got her hair in like her beautiful red hair in like a weird bun-like thing, and it's some semi-sailor white kind of dress with candy stripes. So, what would you guys like to talk about? This is up to the three of you now.
Can I check the video that I took earlier? I'm gonna try to make sure it's far from me because the last time I checked the video, a hand came out of the screen. Or the last time I checked something on the phone.
When you open the video that you took, initially it says that the file is corrupted. Cannot be played. And then you see static on your phone. And then you see a picture of yourself. Like you turned on the selfie camera. Except your facial features begin to fade. Except for a wide Cheshire smile. A Glasgow smile. Please make a sanity check.
I'll slam.
As you break another burner phone, please make a sanity roll.
They're burner for a reason. I got a 32.
You are not.
Succeeded.
You are. You
Oh
are
my God.
relatively fine. That's like, yeah. Allison immediately comes over, but before she does, what was that? That was your face. That was you, and it was looking at you, and it was
Allison?
strange. Allison just comes by. Honey, are you alright? What's going on? Like, are you okay? You like totally smashed your phone. Are you alright?
Just the usual. Stalker was sending messages that just freaked me out. It's fine.
Why they keep breaking your phones? It's like you cursed or something.
Are you sure, honey? Do you need anything? Here, have some water. Here,
Yeah.
come on. She hands you a glass of water.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I'll just drink it. It would still, my hands are still shaking. Thank you.
No problem, man.
That'll be all. It's fine.
Alright, are you sure? Can I do anything else?
Oh, no. It's fine, don't worry.
Here you go. The usual for you and Wonvu, and for the nice gentleman, bacon and eggs and black coffee. Tell me if you guys need anything else. I'll be here.
I go to. I notice Core's reaction and ask, "What just happened? You alright?"
Remember when I took videos of the room?
Yeah.
the video was corrupted, and then it went static, and then I saw my reflection grinning at me. It was unnerving, to say the least. I am terrified of listening to the audio recording that I did earlier. I'm just gonna put the phone that I used for the audio. I'm gonna put it in the middle of the table, but I'm not opening. It's in
Yes.
there. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to actually play it.
Would you guys like to play it?
What the fuck is happening?
I would get it.
Well, yeah.
Me.
Well, I'd actually like to make a roll then to see if I could find the investigators on the internet or something.
Computer use.
I only have a 5%, right?
Everyone
Or I
only has
didn't
5%. Here's your chance to increase it.
I'll use it for text messages or some shit. I got 11. Should I put that?
You can push or you can use luck.
Like 6 points.
How much luck do I still have? I only have...
You have
No, I'll just
39 luck.
I'll push it.
Push the roll,
I
okay?
mean, I'm just gonna put another fucking phone as well. That's fine, I got 7. Oh no, wait, no, it's not.
Almost! But that's so
Oh, now I break my phone. I need to buy a new
Wonvu.
phone.
This is not a burner phone for you. You just kind of look at it and
No.
you just get frustrated. But you don't break the phone. You instead click some questionable people and some questionable links and to some questionable sites, and your phone is ridden in malware and viruses and opens a bunch of things
Sounds like
that
my
you should
actual
have.
phone.
And it opens a bunch of things that you really, really, really wish you had put your phone on silent mode. Because everyone hears what you just opened. And everyone in the diner just kind of looks at you. What the fuck? Do that somewhere
Well,
else.
it's not the time to watch porn.
I'm not watching. I just pressed that on accident. God damn it. Just gonna throw my phone down and then just slump on the table.
I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna
I
tell.
need to look for the siblings, okay?
I'm gonna ask Kore. You do like to smash phones. Is that the thing here, or
No,
what?
so far it's a habit on my part. I have a lot of spare phones, but Wonvu here apparently likes watching porn in public. Are you
No,
looking
I
for?
do not. I was looking for the siblings. God damn it.
Are you looking for them in the porn site? What was that?
No, I just don't know how to use my goddamn phone. Apparently.
However,
Thanks for that. That actually made me cheer up.
however, it does give the very flavorful information that there are porn stars that share their name.
Thanks for that valuable information, I guess.
No. Now, while we make light of this, I will tell you, there is a very real possibility that they may have given you fake names.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
But that remains to be seen
They
that
let me
they are
fucking
missing.
porn.
Essentially, there's a reason you need to roll computer use instead of just being able to search, because if it was a simple Facebook search, that really doesn't require skill. But
Yeah,
but the three
that
of
makes
you
sense.
awaken to the realization that they may have given you some fake names.
It's fine, I guess. Well, I guess wherever they are. I don't think they're gonna uphold that deal. Unless they actually come to find us.
Yeah. We have kind of gotten some really unique experiences inside that cavern, cave, underground thingy.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna look at the table and check. Is the phone still there? The one that we're recording? Or did it slip through?
Yes, the recording.
Slightly.
I'm leaving it there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And me being the inquisitive one, I'm gonna get it.
Wait. Are you playing it?
Yeah? I wanted to see, I wanted to hear what we've...
Can you at least use headphones?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna take out a pair of headphones and put it on the table and just say, I don't want to hear any of that.
On my phone.
I've
Okay.
seen enough
I'm gonna
for
get
today.
Oh shit.
that, like, put in my... Okay.
Okay, you listen to the
Alright.
recording.
Here goes nothing.
You listen to the recording. It starts out very plain. Starts out when Kore started it. It's just your dialogue, your exchange, when she snuck behind Wonvu to turn on the recorder. It sounds normal. You reach the point where you hear the door open. And as soon as you enter there, you just hear static, and then it ends. There's a bit of silence. And then it's quiet. You don't hear the footsteps, you don't hear echoes. Then you just hear not any of your voices, not anyone's voice. You hear history happening. You hear pain. You hear people dying of war. You hear odd things, swords clashing, wars being waged, people dying of disease, people being hurt, executions. It's as if you're listening to several hundreds of audiobooks of history being played all at the same time. It's a little too much for you to keep listening to because it gets louder and louder and louder until you can't take it anymore. You need to put the headphones out unless you want to go deaf. But before you take it off,
What did you hear?
before you take it off, you hear in a very faint whisper, "Take a look at the books."
Okay, that kind of cheating. That's kind of creepy.
Unfortunately, Norman, please make me a sanity roll.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Take us. Okay, it's a 31. Okay, still save.
You save. That is good. You take off the headphones. What the fuck? And it's like, you don't know what the hell that was. Well, it was instructing you to do something. Every fiber of your being tells you that you probably shouldn't, but there's a small part of you inside your head that wonders, what if you do?
Nigel?
Yes.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What did you hear? Did you happen to hear screaming?
Um,
Are you still staying?
I'm gonna look at the phone.
Mm-hmm. The recording has deleted itself.
Yeah.
It says that the file has been deleted.
Oh my gosh. That's... What?
What happened?
The file's deleted. I know. I remember. I remember clearly just hearing it, but not pressing any delete.
May I see my phone, please?
Give him a second.
That's it. It simply it's like what we experience in the basement as well. When history is being, it's like having the book and the audiobook at the same time. Weird, and I think it told. No, I don't think it did. It told me to look at the books.
What
The
did it say about
recording
the
told
book?
me it wants me to look at the books.
Do you want to look at the books? I mean, they're still with me, but I don't really know what's going on in those books.
Right now, I'm a little scared to open the books as well, but it might give us something.
Yeah, and we do need to know what happened to Alicia. It
Yeah.
might give us some clue, and everything has been kind of crazy. Very-
Well, if you want to look at them, then here you go. I'll just take it out of my bag
Yep.
and just give it to him.
The books have changed one final time. They're now labeled in English. The first book that you've ever had.
Is it the same one as the library?
No, it is not. The first book that you ever had, the first
Okay.
book, is clearly titled Book 1, They. The second book is titled Book 2, All. And the third book is titled Book 3, You.
Alright.
Corey, I think we lost your video.
I'm
Yeah, hold on, I'm just doing something.
just gonna look at this and then I'm gonna whisper something into Norman's ear. I'm gonna tell him the title that I saw in the library.
Okay, so book 1 is They.
They
Book
as in
2
They.
They. Okay. Book 2 is
All.
All,
They all.
And book 3 is You.
and 3 is You.
What would you like to open?
Curious as to what is book 1. This They.
I want to look at book 2. Open book.
Book 2 is
Book two.
still the thickest book, and it has an account, an account of history. Same thing, it hasn't changed since the last change. Still up to the modern day. Up to Trump winning presidential elections. Which is counted here as a terrible
Oh,
thing in
Mitch.
history. I am taking shots.
Accurate though.
I'll
Yeah.
take the last book then.
You take the book that
Yeah, I
says
want to look
You.
at the last book as well.
Okay, Norman, you have the first book. Corey, you were the one reading or holding the third book. When you read open it, it has your history. Skeletons in your closet. Things that no one should know anything about. Things that have been buried for years. That should never come out. Names that you recognize. People you've talked to. Family. Friends. You know that you're one 100th Asian, for example. You are looking at your family genealogy all the way up to the middle of the book that shows Kore reads the book and is baffled as to why it records her entire history. She ponders, and the more you think, the more thoughts come into your head, the more letters are written on these pages describing what you're thinking, describing your emotion. Make a sanity roll. Yeah.
Oh shit. I got a 4.
You
Save.
are fine. This, despite how odd it is, how unusual it is not the weirdest thing you have seen over the last few days. You managed to control yourself, but it stands to reason. Whoever's holding this book has their history recorded on it. As Wonvu reads the book while you're holding on to it, Wonvu sees nothing. Blank pages that you are reading. Norman, you hold the first book, the one entitled Vey, and it has nothing written on it, peculiarly. There's nothing on this book.
Can I look at the first book again?
There is also nothing on it as Norman passes to you the book Vey.
Empty.
It's empty.
They. Who's they?
They.
Who's they?
While you're holding on to that book and ask that question, Latin writings start to write themselves on the page. Would you like to try and translate it again?
Yeah, let's try it again.
You'll need to make your roll because the app will help you, so you can have a bonus dice.
Okay, here we go. Latin. $19.
19. That is of success. You kind of read through this Latin inscription and you realize it is actually saying, when Wonvu asked who's they, it says, whoever you want.
I'm gonna look at Norman and say, do you think we could find out what happened to that girl?
You know, I read somewhere there's this sort of a scrying item. Probably the same thing. So, but this is who are they? Okay.
But I'm just gonna try and test the waters. I'm gonna try saying Aaron's full name.
The book begins to write itself. Multiple pages of text of a family tree. As you go to the middle of the book, as you would expect, it has Aaron's name. Aaron Stone. He discovered these books in the public library where they shouldn't be. He collected them, studied them, and he has begun a cult around them. The books drain people's mental capacity, people's understandings. Aaron has discovered this. Aaron has summoned something in his house. Aaron looks for worthy minds that his master can feed on. Aaron is aware that his books have been taken. Aaron is aware you are reading this book. Aaron is aware of what you are doing. Aaron ponders what to do. And it just keeps writing itself. Fortunately, that means Wonvu needs to make a sanity roll.
Okay. Alright. That's fine, I got 15-1. Barely.
Barely succeeds, but that succeeds. The book has written down the history and the current doings of the name that was presented to it. How do you proceed?
Did it also say how yung nangyari sa parents niya and his guardian?
Oh yes. His parents died of a tragic plane crash. His guardian had died after he had presented him these books. His guardian is the first of many to kill themselves with the information Aaron has uncovered and presented to them.
Shit. This book is so powerful right now. Can we try using what's the missing girl's name? Alicia, wasn't it?
Alicia Westway. Alicia Westway. Yes. It describes her history, her life. She was in fact a bright, young prodigy. She has everything, and yet she's also very happy actually. She had no problems. Minor problems that could be fixed by talking, open relationship with her father, no secrets. One day Alicia runs into young Aaron Stone, handsome, charming, blonde boy from across the street. Gets into him. Aaron shows Alicia these odd books. She thinks they are magic tricks. She thinks they are just prestidigitations and sleight of hands. She's shown to a dark room. She's shown down a corridor just to a room with a well. She's shown the reflection of this well. And she is transformed, awakened, changed. She is different. She emerges different. Alicia takes this information. She thinks about it. She thinks about it for several days. Alicia can no longer take this information. Alicia can no longer handle the stress of whatever she's dealing with. Alicia takes to the top floor of the building after her classes. She looks 7 floors down to the hard concrete floor. Alicia jumps and lands headfirst in full view of students who have taken videos. Alicia is no more. And unlike the previous entries, this one ends to the last page of the book. And the last sentence reads, "And this is where Alicia Westway's story ends."
That's quite sad. Then I'm gonna look at Merman. You know, would it be little if we try to look into your father as well?
Yeah, I think we should look at Mr. Westway too.
Yeah.
Let's see how he is.
That is something that can wait to the morning, because it's close to midnight. We all need some sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we will end our story for the night.